Did you guys enjoy the story?
Yeah, it was really inspirational.
I agree. I thought it was really great how Fumiko was determined to find something for her museum. And once she found about Hannah, she kept on persisting to figure out more about this girl.
And it shows how objects can be influential too.
I've always been amazed at how people can move others with words.
I really don't get how words can be so moving when they can easily be just made up. With Hannah's suitcase, you know it's real.
Yeah, but I think speech can express things that words on a page or in a suitcase can't. There's pitch, repetition, many variations in sound that express emotion. And yes, that can be misused, but it's done a lot of good.
It's like Martin Luther King's I Have a Dream speech.
I just think that the effectiveness of a speech is slightly dependent on trust, and that can be hard to get.
Are we just waiting for Cora?
Oh, there she is.
Sorry I'm late.
Do you have the prompt?
Yes, I have that too. Why is the suitcase so intriguing to Fumiko and the children? What can physical objects like Hannah's suitcase offer that stories or books alone cannot? Read an essay discussing the importance of an artifact like Hannah's suitcase in the study and remembrance of the Holocaust.
It's all about why objects are more effective than words.
But what's the difference? Why are objects more helpful in this story while words are more moving in other circumstances?
Maybe it's because that they have no other way of knowing whether or not the Holocaust actually happened other than what they're told.
It's kind of like what you're saying, Landon. He mentioned how words can all be made up.
Take Malala Yousafzai or Rosa Parks. They made or make, in Malala's case, a difference at the time of the problem. Maybe the thing about the Holocaust is that it's not recent.
Words work best with the event when it actually happens at the same time. Maybe the kids have trouble recognizing how real the Holocaust is because they didn't have the event part of things.
Words seem to be using an event and just interpreting it. Like Malala. The Taliban took over Afghanistan and Pakistan, and Malala spoke out about how cruel the Taliban were being, and people were being racist against African Americans, so Rosa Parks spoke up against that. They were raising awareness about something.
So in this case, objects are like the missing evidence that moving words need. All the claims of the Holocaust happening are proven when you see an example of its effects.
So the kids can connect with Hannah.
Yeah.
And also how Hannah's a real person. It's helpful to see that there were victims of the Holocaust, instead of just thinking that the Holocaust was just something that happened.
Objects. You can trust, because they can't be made up. Objects are hard, physical evidence of an event.
Okay, so can we find somewhere in the text where it talks about that?
Oh yeah, I also have that. So it says here in paragraph 4 that Fumiko decided the best way to start would be through physical objects that the children could see and touch.
So I think that the see and touch part of that is the one that specifically relates to objects being real. Objects being proof, because you can see them and touch them, you know that they exist.
Yeah, that's good. Okay, then second.
Well, the kids can connect to Hannah. And in paragraph 9, it says, Fumiko and the children figured out that Hannah would have been 13 years old when she was sent to Auschwitz. A year younger than me, said one girl. Just as old as my big sister, said Akira.
So when they realize how old Hannah was, they can imagine what it would have been like for someone they know, or themselves, to have been sent to a concentration camp.
That's the part we talked about before, how kids can see their lives aren't always nice just because they're kids.
We're doing good so far. I think we had one more point about how Hannah makes the genocide of the Holocaust feel more like, yeah, people died. It wasn't just some point on a timeline. It affected people. And that's what was also mentioned in paragraph 9. The suitcase was the only object they had at the center that was linked to a name. Hannah's suitcase makes it personal.
I think it's even more moving because if you went back in time and asked Hannah, I bet she wouldn't have guessed that her suitcase would be in a museum. She did whatever she did to that suitcase, not thinking that it would be displayed. Her choices, however, as small they were, still represent her now at the museum.
She made a mark on the world.
Everyone has made a mark on the world, but specifically people. Someone gives a speech, maybe only 20 people heard it, but it changed them, and that changed their children, and so on. And maybe it's hard to find the evidence without a physical representation of it, but it's still the people who did something. Everyone and everything makes a difference. They all make a mark.
Was Hannah's a good mark?
I think so. She changed those children, helped them understand the big event in history, but most importantly, why it was so horrible.
Yeah, and even though her mark shouldn't have had to do with that, her memory is still a good one.
I was just going to make photocopies of the organizer, and then I think we're ready to write.